So I was laid off from my corporate job making 200 grand a year. So I'm going to go ahead and expose the AI companies and what their plan is.
Welcome back, guys. I know we have heard this before that AI very soon it's going to take over. This guy came online and now he said he wanna expose AI. What you and I don't even know about AI. But y'all remember Senator Bernie Sanders when he said this?
Everybody agrees that artificial intelligence, AI, and robotics are going to have a transformative impact on our country and the world. There is very little disagreement about that. There are, however, very strong disagreements as to what those impacts will be, who will benefit from these changes, and who will be hurt. So here is my take. Some of the very wealthiest people in the world, including Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and others, are now investing hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars into these revolutionary, transformative technologies. Now, why is that? Why are they doing that? Is it because they want to improve the standard of living of the 60% of our people who live paycheck to paycheck? Americans who are struggling to pay for groceries, healthcare, housing, education? Maybe. Maybe they are staying up nights worrying about the working families of America. But I doubt it. I think it's because investing in AI and robotics will increase their already incredible wealth and power exponentially. Among other impacts, the artificial intelligence and robotics being developed by these multi-billionaires will allow corporate America to wipe out tens of millions of decent paying jobs, cut labor costs, and boost profits. The result? The wealthiest people in the world will get even richer while working families lose their jobs and their income. And unless we act, here is, in my view, I don't claim to have all the answers, but in my view, this is what is likely to happen in the next 10 years. Now, as a member of Congress who vigorously opposed the disastrous trade agreements that decimated communities throughout this country, I, like most Americans, want to see manufacturing rebuilt in the United States of America. But let us be clear. New factories won't mean much for working people if the jobs are done by robots instead of human beings. Elon Musk has said he wants Tesla to build millions of robots. And what will these robots do? Well, obviously, they will replace the men and women working in our factories, warehouses, and in restaurants and in other areas. That means millions of good jobs could disappear. It's not very complicated. And of course, it's not just Musk. Amazon, owned by Jeff Bezos, has already laid off 27,000 workers since 2022. The company now has more than 1 million robots working in its warehouses, and soon these robots will outnumber human workers in Amazon facilities. In 2016, Foxconn, the massive manufacturing contractor for companies like Apple and Google, replaced 60,000 workers in a single huge factory in China with robots. Now, the company is planning fully automated factories. And just a few months ago, Foxconn CEO Young Liu predicted that artificial intelligence will make it unnecessary for large corporations to outsource jobs to low-wage countries. You know why? Because robots will be doing most of the manufacturing work. However, it is not just manufacturing jobs at risk. Most of us want to see the United States develop a strong, clean, and efficient transportation system, including the production of millions of new cars, buses, and trucks. But if Musk and others get their way, those vehicles won't be operated by truck drivers, bus drivers, or taxi drivers. They will be driverless vehicles. Millions of jobs in transportation will be eliminated. This is not science fiction. It's already happening. FedEx is using driverless trucks to haul heavy loads along the I-45 corridor between Dallas and Houston through a company called Aurora. Walmart is using autonomous trucks for short-haul deliveries in Arkansas through a company called Gatik. Kodiak Robotics has partnered with IKEA to conduct driverless deliveries in Texas. Waymo is operating self-driving cabs in Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Austin. We all want to see more startup companies and small businesses, but for workers, that will mean very little if half of all white-collar entry-level jobs are eliminated over the next 5 years. And that is exactly what has been predicted by Dario Amodei, the founder of Anthropic, one of the leading AI companies in the world. As the ranking member of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, I just released a report finding that AI, automation, and robotics could replace nearly 100 million jobs in America over the next decade, including 40% of registered nurses, 47% of truck drivers, 64% of accountants, 65% of teaching assistants, and 89% of fast food workers, among many other occupations. And as bad as that may seem, I'm afraid it could be an underestimate. In June, the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, predicted that AI could eliminate, quote, literally half of all white-collar jobs in the U.S., end quote, within the next decade. That's Jim Farley, Ford. Elon Musk said this year that as a result of AI and robotics, quote, probably none of us will have a job. If you want a job, that's kind of like a hobby. You can do a job. But otherwise, AI and robotics will provide any goods and services you want, end of quote. Earlier this year, Bill Gates predicted that humans, quote, won't be needed for most things, end quote, such as manufacturing products, delivering packages, or growing food over the next decade due to AI. So, my friends, here is a rather big question. If Musk and Gates and others are only half right in their predictions, what happens to the tens of millions of Americans who no longer have employment because they can't find jobs that don't exist? In this brave new world, how do these Americans pay for health care, food, housing, and the other necessities of life? But it's not just economics. Work, whether being a janitor or a brain surgeon, is an integral part of being a human being. The vast majority of people want to be productive members of society and contribute to their communities. What happens when that vital aspect of human existence is removed from our lives?
I'm going to say it started bit by bit, and we were not paying attention to it. If you all remember when ATM machine came, right? ATM machine took some jobs away, but we did not pay attention to it. If you all remember when self-checkout came, like in Walmart, in Target, or whatnot, we were not paying attention to it. But that self-checkout took jobs away, right? So it has been dropping bit by bit. We were not just paying attention to it. And a lot of people were saying like, okay, it's convenient. Boy, we ain't thinking about people are losing jobs in the process, right? I don't know if you guys remember when Senator Bernie Sanders gave that speech. I just gotta play y'all. Like, he has been talking about it. I'm gonna play you this guy that said he lost his job. He lost his job and now he's telling us even deeper of the AI.
So I was laid off from my corporate job making 200 grand a year. So I'm going to go ahead and expose the AI companies and what they're planning. First thing you need to understand is the different stages of AI. First and foremost, you have stage one, which is just general AI, Gen AI. That is like your ChatGPT. You throw in an input, it gives you an answer. Pretty basic. Now, the second one is called agentic AI, and that is the one that is able to replicate all the things you do. This is what is taking most people's jobs right now. This is kind of the hot topic, but there's two more stages. The next one is artificial general intelligence. This is essentially AI having a brain. It can predict and forecast, and it's essentially learned enough from all of us that it's able to perform duties and forecast and pretty much get things done on its own. This tech actually exists right now. However, it is not available to the public, but there are companies that are, well, let's just say I won't mention them, that are using it. And then lastly, there's superintelligence. Superintelligence is like the ultimate form of AI. This is like the Terminator scene where they kind of have a brain of their own. They create their own ecosystems and essentially kind of take over. There's also some debates as to whether that exists currently or not. Just being in some meetings, I will tell you, it does. The issue with all of this is that it is very, very massive to run all of this hardware, and it is extremely power intensive. That is why they keep talking about all these, different water resources being drained, all these data centers going up. This is the future. They will be pulling from these data centers. They will be draining the water supply to run these super intelligence, super gen AI. If you're one of those people that says, oh, ChatGPT will never take my job, it's not ChatGPT. That stuff that they've given you access to that you think is so cool isn't even scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Right now, if you have any sort of job that can be replicated, if something can look at your screen and copy what you're doing and learn how to do that, you will be replaced within the next few years. So my advice is get ahead of it, start something on your own, go into home services, something manual labor, consulting, coaching, lean into that more. That is the future, and AI will handle most of the mundane tasks that we have. Now, there's a ton of theories as to why the government or the world is letting AI kind of just get off the rails. But my opinion and what I've seen is that they want to separate the income gap. Right now, there's a lower, a middle, and an elite class.
Yeah.
The elite class does not like the middle class creeping up into it. You saw it with COVID. Tons of people made money with crypto and all these different things. They're tired of that. They don't want you there. So their plan essentially is to create the wealth gap, and they want to push out the middle class and just have two separate classes. That is just what I believe and what I've seen. You can get into all the different conspiracies surrounding it and New World Order and all the different stuff that happened, but that is essentially the plan. That is why they're letting this just run off the rails. There's really no governance behind any of this. You can pretty much start up a company and develop and research any kind of AI you want without really any sort of oversight. So all I'm saying is just get ahead of it. You'll be in a better place for doing it.